Good morning and welcome, or good evening, good afternoon if you're watching on TV or online. My name is Tori Breidup and I am an intern for Iowa City Hospice, just starting. I'm also a master's student in healthcare administration at the University of Iowa and a huge supporter of caregivers. I think what caregivers do is fantastic, hardworking, and hopefully today we can give some more resources to caregivers. So our objectives are to go over some of the statistics about caregivers and the challenges that they face, and then let you know what's available here locally in Iowa and nationally to help you with caregiving. So some of the statistics, right now, about 19% of households are caring for an older adult. That equates to about 43 million family caregivers in the U.S. About 85% of this care is provided at home, not in nursing homes or institutions. And of that, families provide $375 billion in unpaid care. And where that comes from is looking at if families were paid just the minimum wage, that would equate to $375 billion. That's more than Medicaid and Medicare pay for nursing home care. So to me, that's just a staggering number. If we didn't have these family caregivers out in the homes, how would this care get paid for? So what do we know about family caregivers? Who's the average family caregiver? Well, so 67%, almost 2/3 are female. Almost half of them are employed while giving care. So they're juggling working while also trying to caregive for somebody. 61% are helping with one or more personal activities. So you could be a caregiver that just helps with shopping duties, or you could be somebody that helps with multiple activities of daily living. And then the people for whom they are caring have a range of issues, dementia, heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, or maybe a multiple of these. The average family caregiver is usually a 50-year-old woman. She also will probably have a spouse or a partner. As we mentioned before, she's probably working outside the home and is spending 19 hours a week. That's almost a part-time job that she's devoting to caregiving. And that's on top of working and then just trying to take care of everything else in her life, or his life as a caregiver. The average caregiver is caring for her 77-year-old mother who lives 20 minutes away. So usually not within the same household. The bottom line is that caregivers are busy, very busy people, trying to juggle many responsibilities. Some caregivers even have smaller children that they're caregiving for as well. Oops. Another point about caregivers is that they tend to put their needs of the ill person ahead of their own. And what results is that the severity of the caregiver's problems then tend to go up. So caregiving is associated with poor sleep and sometimes even increased cancer risk. So it's definitely a very challenging job. So in addition to the health risks and just the time management, there's also the financial cost of caregiving. 20% of family caregivers end up quitting their jobs or making major life changes in order to be able to caregive. And another entirely sobering fact is 31% lose most or all of their family's savings as a result of caregiving. So when caregivers are out there struggling, we are finding that a lot of them are turning to the internet for information before going to the doctor. Also, of people who are out there on the internet, 39% report that they've used the internet to help them find information for somebody with a major illness. And a lot of these e-caregivers are people in their 50s to 64 years old. What's also interesting about this is that most caregivers, when they are online, is between 10 at night and 2 in the morning. Obviously, at this point, the libraries are closed, doctors' offices are closed, a lot of friends and family have gone to sleep, and the caregiver has finished with their day of work and caregiving, the ill person is asleep, and but I still need to find some resources. So that's why they go to the internet. And so we at Iowa City Hospice have said, well, let's meet those caregivers who are trying to find resources by providing it online. So we have a website, seriousillness.org, with tons of information, over 50 pages of educational and referral information. And if you're like me, you can't remember the whole website address. What I usually do is just remember one little part. So I might come away from here and I go to a website browser search and I just type in serious illness, because that's all I remembered from today. And oh, fantastic, there it is. Now, this is the national care site, and then each community creates its own local website. But I wanted to show you this because maybe you are a caregiver, you live here in Iowa City, but your sister shares care for your mom, and she lives in Indiana. So half the year, mom lives here in Iowa City, half the year, mom lives in Indiana with the sister. And so there are resources out there. Or maybe you're going to travel, and oh my gosh, we're going to Florida, and I want to know what resources are available to me there.
Just scroll down a little more to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Now you will notice that not every state and every place is listed. So for example, Oklahoma, if you're going to be in Tulsa, they don't yet have information. But if you do have questions about a place, feel free to contact us at Iowa City and Iowa City Hospice, and we will be glad to help you find some resources. But anyway, so let's go to our Iowa City Serious Illness webpage. So here you'll see on our menu selection, we have about our services. Maybe I want to know about medical concerns as relates to serious illnesses, managing pain, how do I talk to my doctor. We've included emotional and spiritual issues, those important decisions, finances, how do we start the conversation if I feel somebody is ill and needs some caregiving, how do I start that conversation with them? What I want to show you is that we do have a e-newsletter. So if you want to get a monthly update from Iowa City Hospice Serious Illness, we send that out. Or if you're like me, I've got way too much email in my inbox. So I'm just going to come to this page, and from here I can find out, okay, well, what did they send out in September and October 2004? And I look through, finding time for yourself, how assistive technology can help. And that'll give me some information. And this happens to be next month's topic provided by Iowa City Hospice for caregivers. So you can choose to have the email come to you or just come back to this site. Now I'm going to go to the page of links for families. So under other resources, and it's taking a while to pop up. So I may just go to my pre-selected tab here. So in links for families, these are some of the links that I'm going to show you today. So one of the first ones is benefits checkup, and this is kind of a one-stop place if you need help with prescriptions, you need help with food. You can come here, and it's very reputable, a very safe site, and you don't have time to go to the food bank information. You don't have time to go find about. Everything is here contained in this one site. We'll see how quickly this opens up. This is provided by one of the government agencies, and I tend to find their sites are a little slower. Maybe that's because there's lots of people using it. So what I did notice is, let's say that I'm going to do this for my mother, and I'm a female, and I'm here in Iowa City. Is it asks some questions? So, well, oh my gosh, what kind of health insurance does my mom have? I have no idea. That's okay. You don't need to know all of the questions asked. The more that you can supply on this form, the more beneficial. But, if you're just trying to get some basic information, fill out as much as you can. All right. Then also off of our serious illness site is this independent living assessment. So maybe as a caregiver, you're trying to figure out at what point do we seek more outside care. And this link has another great little pop-up. Lots of people, I don't know about you, but I like filling out little surveys and forms. It's kind of fun. So there's this. You can take the independent living assessment. And what I really like about it is it asks some questions that you might never have considered. You're caregiving for somebody, and you need to help them with getting prescriptions and taking them to the doctor. But oh my gosh, I never even thought about, do they have difficulty bending over? So it gives you lots of good questions to think about. How much independent living do we have in our situation? And then everyone likes to get a score. So after you take the assessment, it gives you a score. And here we've scored a 46. I don't know how easily it is to read here, but this basically means that no independent tasks. So I had questions about moving about freely. That seemed to be something that was an issue for me and my person that I'm caring for. So it says I can contact the American Physical Therapy Association. So I can go online and research that, or feel free to contact us at Iowa City Hospice, and we'll help you get more information if this is an issue for you, moving about freely, or any of these areas of concern. So another link that we have from the Serious Illness webpage is a link to the American Bar Association. And they've put together a wonderful pamphlet that kind of talks through some of the key legal issues. How do we pay for care? How do we make decisions about healthcare? How do we manage our money? What are rights that we have as a patient, especially if we bring in paid caregivers? And then what rights do they have if I'm bringing in somebody to help care for? And also, all those important legal documents are out there and accessible. So I will show you. Hopefully I can. It's down here at the bottom of our serious illness resources for families. So the consumer's toolkit for healthcare advanced planning. If you click from there, that'll take you out to the American Bar Association website, and then their book, The Legal Guide for Seriously Ill. Here's what it looks like. And so you can read it online or print it out at a library or at home and learn lots of information about those legal issues. Another website that is off of our seriousillness.org Iowa City website is this Lots of Helping Hands. And I just love this website because what it does is it creates an online community for you as a caregiver to bring in more assistance to help you with caregiving. So for example, I'm a caregiver. I need to get my dad to the doctor on Friday, and I know I can't do it. So if I had the telephone, well, I might call my nephew. He can't do it, so I call somebody else. And now I've made several phone calls, or I might create a phone tree. Well, it turns out through that phone tree that my nephew was able to take my dad, but I never found out that information, and so the links got crossed. Well, what Lots of Helping Hands enables you to do is to put this information up online. So you create, for example, a calendar of tasks, and I put up there, Dad needs to go to the doctor on Friday. And everyone that I've invited into my community now sees that. My nephew puts that information out there, and now it's known to everyone. Boom, we've got that task taken care of. So you can see Lots of Helping Hands has done, they've helped create more than 1 million meals provided for caregivers and caregiver families. They've created rides. Maybe you just need help getting somewhere. They've created help in covering childcare. So it's kind of limitless what you can put up there. It doesn't have to be rides or meals. It can be just somebody coming in and reading or playing bridge. What I also like about Lots of Helping Hands is it helps you think, who is my community? You know, I'm a caregiver, and I get my sister and her children to help, but oh my gosh, what about Uncle Joe? Yeah, that's a great resource. Or maybe a neighbor. And then I reach out to my community and think, oh my gosh, what about my church? Maybe there are people there that would be willing to help go pick up groceries, something related to caregiving. Or my spouse, for whom I'm caregiving, used to be a professor at the University of Iowa. Are there others in his department that might be interested in coming into my community? So through the website, you reach out and create your community. You don't have to include groups, but there's certainly that potential. So I'll show you that off of our website. Here we go. The Lots of Helping Hands is also something that you can put on your phone if you have a smartphone. So here's what the homepage of Lots of Helping Hands looks like. And it's just a wonderful way to use the technology of the internet to help you create a caregiving community. Also off of our seriousillness.org Iowa City is a myMedSchedule.com website. And through this website, you go in and list all of the medications you might be taking, and it helps you create a schedule. Well, I need to take Tylenol in the morning, and I need to take my heart medication at noon. I can put all that information in. I can also track for my person that is ill, I need to take their blood pressure every other day. I can put that information up through this website, and it allows me to print out that information and then take it with me when I go to the doctors. Or I can print out the the big med schedule and post that, on the refrigerator or in the bathroom. So for example here, I started in on choosing some of the medications that I might want to remember. And so it tells me, gives me some steps to take. Whoops. All right, so I didn't realize it would log out. Sorry about that. So there's the home page for it. And you can see you can also put it on your phone, and just more resources. Maybe you just love having, you love inputting that data and seeing it all in one place. This is a great resource for you. Also, off of our seriousillness.org Iowa City, we have a nursing home compare. And what I find really useful about this is I may know about the nursing home that's down the street, and my friend from work has her mother in another one. But those are the only two that I know about in the community. And this website will show me how many nursing homes are available in our community. So that if, so it's off of Medicare.gov, and there's a nursing home compare link. And if you go, I'll show you on our serious illness where to find this. So we'll type in Iowa City here. Whoops. So how many nursing homes are? Oh my goodness, there are 12 nursing homes within 25 miles. I had no idea there were this many. So now I know that there are many more choices than just the two I previously knew about. And now there's some information here too about each of these. So overall ratings, Briarwood gets a much above average. And some of these descriptors of the nursing homes may or may not be useful to you, but what I find nice is that it gives you a starting point. Oh, I had no idea about Parkview Manor, but it's not very, I live in Wellman, Iowa, so I'm going to go check it out now that I know about it. So let me show you that off of our website. Oops. So again, it's under our other resources, links for families. I scroll down here, nursing home compare, and there's the link to the My Med Schedule. Above that is the link to the Lots of Helping Hands. we also have links to the Kansas City Red Cross put together a bunch of informational videos, and these show, so for example, how to help your loved one with brushing their teeth. And what I find so useful about this is it actually demonstrates a caregiver brushing the teeth of their loved one. So if you're somebody that really likes that visual, how do I do that? I read it and I just don't understand, but if I see it in a video, that, oh my gosh, now I understand. So they have personal care, how do you help them brush their teeth or shave a person. There's also a video, for example, on body mechanics when you're helping to lift somebody from bed or from a chair. I saw that there's a video on dementia. So lots of wonderful information out there in video form. This is not online, so unfortunately you do need to be able to walk in, but we want you to know that there is a support group, and so this is a wonderful way to go meet with other caregivers and talk about the issues that you're struggling with, or maybe you are celebrating something and you'd like some people who understand to give you that pat on the back. So Iowa City offers this support group on the first and third Wednesdays from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at the Johnson County Extension, which is on Highway 218 South, the old highway in Iowa City. Free respite care is provided, but please do call and make a reservation in advance. And if you have questions, you can contact Jeff Kelbach or Steve Siglin. And their contact information is available on our website, or we'd be happy to give that to you after the presentation. And, maybe in the future we'll figure out a way to provide an online caregiver support group if there's interest, since we're talking about online resources today. Iowa City Hospice also offers caregiving education series, and so you can see these are some of the topics that we had this spring, and coming in October is our assistive devices. So what are equipment that can make it easier for you as a caregiver? What is out there? And then in November, we'll talk about holidays. And then we take off December and January, and we'll have a whole new slate of topics for 2015. And those are here at 10:30 here at the Hills Bank. For more information, especially about serious illness or caregiving, you can reach Iowa City Hospice at 1-800-897-3052, at our website, iowacity.hospice.org, or via email, info@iowacity.hospice. Whoops, sorry, I went the wrong way. And this is our homepage of Iowa City Hospice. And one final word is that we want people to know that the serious illness is not just for people who are in hospice. It's for anybody dealing with a serious illness. And that many caregivers find that the sooner that they start reaching out, the easier it is to deal with serious illness and the end of life. Often people come to hospice within the last few weeks. But we want you to know that our resources are available at any time that you are dealing with caregiving issues or serious illness issues, and we will attempt to help you find the resources that are most appropriate to your situation. So at this point, if there are questions, Maggie Elliott here will bring the microphone around. That way the information can be better heard for the television.
I just have a comment. I would have benefited from the Kansas City Caregiver site that has videos of how to do things. I was shown how to move my mother in bed, but once your teacher leaves, then you're on your own. And it would have been great if I could have just gone to the web and just saw somebody else show me one more time, just for that confidence that I needed. Because there's tricks on how to move people to not only safely move them, but to safely for yourself and not hurt yourself. So thank you for showing us that.
Hi. I don't know whether this is a question or just a comment. I guess I would start with a question first. On your website, I know that informally you guys are all aware of organizations for specific serious diseases that can help for whatever the loved one's specific problem is. And do you have anything on your website linking the viewer to these other organizations? For instance, I've attended many of these. My father is suffering from Alzheimer's disease, and the American Alzheimer's Association also has a support group here in town that meets monthly. I would like to ask if you have links to those places on your website, and if not, why not? Or if not, may I urge you to do it?
Yes, we do have information. Let me, I now have so many sites pulled up here. We do have links to information about various illnesses, but for example, there's the link to the Alzheimer's support groups.
But that's online message? Did I look at that correctly? Online message boards and chats.
So it takes you to the homepage. So am I understanding it might be more useful for you if we had a more direct link?
Yes, to the organization locally. That's just my opinion, but each time I'm here, I hear about serious illness issues, and I understand why you do it so generally and generically in order to include everyone. But and maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. I'm sure it's a decision that's been made for a particular reason, but I would say, particularly with Alzheimer's or dementia, since it's such an enormously growing population everywhere, that might be considerably more valuable for folks to have local information.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the best parts about serious illness allowing us to tailor it to Iowa City is that we can find out what's useful to our community and make sure that those links are up there in the most applicable way.
And just to put in my plug again, the next support group for Alzheimer's Association dementia support is the first Sunday of every month at 12:30 30 minutes after noon at the senior center in a second floor classroom.
Is that the Iowa City Senior Center?
Yes.
And that's all summer long?
Yes, and it's wonderful. They've saved my sanity many times.
We need that.
Yes, please come.
Thank you. I noticed at the top you had about arthritis and the falls and stuff, and I had referred to my information from the arthritis group to help my husband learn how to get up off the floor when he fell. And so it was, these things are really valuable. And I think you've improved. My husband's been dead 3.5 years, but my friend is just dealing with everything like that now. So I brought her here today.
I kind of wish we would. I had a computer back in '93 when looking for a nursing home. My husband had a stroke in '93. It affected his left side. Paralyzed. The balance never came back. And then I had to shop around for a nursing home. That was like pulling teeth.
Hospice really
I
helped me
just-
find a nursing home.
I just went around in Johnson County. Well, we ended up in Washington County at Wellman. And he was in a nursing home down there for 14 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he passed away here in July 07. But but as far as a caregiver, I saw him every week, and I continue with what I had been doing and belonging to the organizations, going bowling. That's my therapy, bowling. And just keep things going. But I'm a substitute elementary teacher. I saw him every week. And with the organizations I belong to, I look back on it now and how in the heck did you keep going to the 4 wins?
Exactly.
But as a caregiver, you got to take care of yourself. So that's why Bill said, the week he had his stroke was the bowling banquet. And he said, go. Well, here he's in the hospital at Mercy, and he's only been there like 2 days or so. And he knew that meant a lot to me, so he was fine. Good care here at Mercy. So he told me to go. So I went out to Tiffin to the Lark, and we had a bowling banquet, and I enjoyed the evening. But you still worry. But it's a struggle. But just don't give up. And if you like what you're doing for yourself, do it.
What's so wonderful about all of you sharing is that it's letting current or future caregivers know they're not alone. And some of the issues you have brought up will be ones that they run into. And as you mentioned, hopefully now the internet is making it easier to find a nursing home or...
Otherwise, I was driving to the nursing home and
Right.
see their facility. And which was fine. They were very grateful, very gracious in all regards. But it was just it was just hard to decide.
That's very troubling, too.
I would just like to second what the lady said in the very pink windbreaker. What is your name? Pat. Okay. That has to be one of the most confusing and difficult processes to go through, the process of finding a care facility, which is what and I understand how, and it's very nice of you to have the link to the nursing home ratings, but through experience, my siblings and I, we take care of our dad long distance. And by experience, in a large urban area, or even a moderately sized urban area, there are just too many choices. And all of these rating things available through Medicare, Medicaid, what have you, only touched the surface, and it means that you still have to go and do diligence on site. It's so incredibly frustrating. And I understand for reasons of, for legal issues, that I guess no one providing information can say this is a good place and this is a bad place. But you have to know that. And how in the world do you find that out, except my dad has now been moved the third time to the third facility. He is not moving again. But we tried every single time to make the best decision for him and his wife, And we used the program guides. We used the rating things. We used every resource that we could come up with. And it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And that's my current rant. So, does hospice have any kind of influence over issues like this? What is your reply besides just sympathy and which we all very much appreciate? But what's going on here?
I think I'm going to have to ask Maggie Elliott, director, to answer that.
If someone is in Iowa City Hospice's care, we partner. We think of our care as being a team. So we partner with the care facility and help work through any issues that you would have with care. But that has to be someone who's on our care. So I think what you said about going to and I can never say this word right, ombudsman,
Yes.
that's the
That is a
way to
thing.
go.
We tried the ombudsperson office in Oklahoma, and they were not very responsive. They are simply so overwhelmed with all of these issues that just keep ballooning everywhere.
But we're all talking about some solutions that work, and
But that's too much. That's too much on her. That's too much on us. That's too much on my dad's wife. It's just pathetic that, I'm not criticizing you guys. I understand the situation. I'm just wondering if there's anyone working to skirt around this whole legal liability and, why it's not better.
I think that rating thing was excellent that was up there, because that's the way you get them. You get them in the pocketbook, because you vote by not going there. And either they'll change administrators, or they'll go out of business, or the people will get wised up, and you had yours in 3 different nursing homes. And there's a difference in the hospices too, from one hospice to the other.
I think we're on a continuum. 5 years ago or 10 years ago, there wasn't a rating system. Now there's a rating system. It can be improved. It's not perfect, but it's getting better. So it seems to me that we're on a continuum, and we're transitioning. That rating system needs to get better. A lot of it's self-reporting, and that's not appropriate. But the government is aware. So I think we're getting better, but you're right, it is not perfect. Well, thank you very much, Tori, and thank you all. Great.